Good morning, all of you. Good. Number 31. So we start the lecture for today. Uh, Today we would be start with the new unit, that is information theory. Unit number 3, information theory. Hello. Am I audible? Please reply anyone.
Yes,
Am I
sir.
audible? Okay. Thank you.
Yes,
So
sir.
today we would be
Yes, sir.
start a new unit, information theory, and that is the in the second unit we have learn about the error correcting codes, and now we have to go with the information theory. So in the second unit you have learned the channel encoder and decoder, and how we have to apply the coding techniques for encoding the information at the channel end, and how we have to remove the error from that message from in the receiver end. That all the techniques we have learned: block code, linear block codes, cyclic codes, and convolutional codes, bit decoding algorithm. This all we have learned. Now from today we will be going to start the source coding and decoding method. So in the information theory, we will be learn about the concept of the information, entropy, and some other things. So you have to see the outline of this particular unit is that the topic we are going to cover. So the important topic as per the syllabus are the concept of information, information rate, entropy or mutual information, channel capacity, bandwidth trade-offs, bandwidth SNR trade-offs, use of orthogonal signals to achieve the Shannon's limit, entropy coding, overview of the binary symmetric channel, Huffman coding, Shannon-Fano coding, code efficiency, and channel throughput. These are the some highlights of this particular units that we have to learn. We are going to learn in the next 2 lectures. Okay, so today we would start with the topic, the concept of information, and end the topic at the information rate and entropy. So if you would see, this is the diagram of overview of the information theory framework. So if you would go through the information theory framework, this would cover multiple domains like communication theory that we are learning in this unit or in this subject. Computer science is also required to use the information theory. Both are vice versa. Actually, both directional arrows are shown here. Probability theory would be used to learn the information theory. Statistics would be also used. In the economy, we also use the information theory. Mathematics is involved in the information theory. Physics is also involved. So these are the some areas where you be use the information theory, or these are the some area, domains that would be required to learn the information theory, you can say. Okay, so this is the broad area for information theory. Now first of all we have to come with the definition. What the definitions for the concept of the information is? What is actually the information? The information transmitted in a communication system may be voice, electronic mail, computer generated data, videos, facts, etc. So the information transmitted in a communication system may be what? Voice, electronic mail, or the computer generated data, binary data, other video signals. Okay, these are the used this is basically information we use in the communication system. So if you would be going to say, information theory is a branch of probability theory which can be applied to the study of communication system. So it deals with 2 elements. First of all, it would be deals with mathematical laws governing the system that communicate and process the information. Okay, there are lots of the mathematics involved in the information theory. Then second one, it would be quantitative It deals with the quantitative measures of information and capacity of the various systems that transmit, receive, or process the information. So it deals with mathematical laws that governs the system or communication system actually, and it also deals with the quantitative measures of information. This is a simple block diagram of the communication system where we have shown the source, channel, and receiver. But if you would be broadly going to describe the communication system, so this is the detailed block diagram of the communication system. We would be trying to understand what particular section we are going to learn in this particular information theory. So you can see here, starting from the source, you have to be start from the source, and at the source end we have to be someone, maybe a voice signal, maybe a video signal, maybe a data, text data would be generated from the source. The source could be a human being or can be other any element, maybe music system or some other things or whatever, PS system. So this source would be generate the message or information, and after that it would be encoded at the source encoder. So in the source encoder we would be use the different techniques, and in this unit we are going to learn these techniques like Huffman coding, like Shannon-Fano coding. These all coding techniques would be used to the encode the information or message at the source end. That is called the source encoder encoding technique. Here we would use these techniques in the source encoder. After encoding or actually you have to be compress the data or encrypt the data at the source. Compress the data actually with the help of this coding techniques, encoders. Then it would be passed to the channel encoder. That we have already learned the channel encoding techniques like our linear block codes, convolutional codes. We have already learned in this type of the coding techniques at the channel end. Okay, and after that, this compression of data and encryption of the data, we would be pass it to the modulator, where the modulator would be convert the binary information or the data in the terms of signals. Okay, now the information or message would be converted into the signals with the help of the modulators. The output of the modulator is nothing but the signals. Okay, it could be analog or digital signals are there, and these signals would be sent to the channel. Okay, from the source at the modulator end, the source would be end, and it would be enter the message would be entered in terms of signal into the channel. In the channel there is a noise or the errors could be added that could be corrupt or violate the message signals, and then after channel this error signal would be sent to the demodulator at the receiver end. Now the receiver starts, and demodulator would be reconvert the signal into the binary data signals. You can data signal would be converted again back to the data, and that data consists of the some error uh, in it, and this error data, maybe there is some you can say uh, corrupt data, you can say. You have to be the task to remove these errors by the help of the channel decoder, where we have to be employ the linear block code techniques to detect and correct the errors, or maybe you can use the Viterbi decoding algorithm or some other techniques to decode the uh, data and free from the channel based errors in this particular section. And after this corrected code words would be transmit to the source decoder, where it would be decode the actual information from it. Means if whatever the compression we have done in at the source encoder side, we have to now decompress the data, and then finally the actual message would be retrieved, and it would be sent to the receiving end. That is a sink it is mentioned. You can have a person, maybe a system that would be receive this message. So in this particular unit we would be going to learn these two elements. These two elements are very important, that is the source encoder and source decoder. So we are going to learn in future lectures the source coding and decoding techniques. Okay, we have already learned this in the unit number 2. and this would be learned modulated, demodulated at the unit number 4. Okay. Now come back to the information theory. Information theory is used for mathematical modeling and analysis of the communication system, so that we will be able to transmit minimum information and maximize the transmission rate. Okay. Yet there is a issue of the reliability in the transmission. Whatever we have going to do here, we have to be transmit the minimum information and maximize the transmission rate. This is our task. But there could be a problem of the reliability during the transmission that we have to be deal with it. So now we have to learn about the unit of information. If you're going to see the unit of information, but before that we have to be classify the types of the information source. Basically, there are two types of information source are there. First one is the analog source, and second one is the discrete sources. So from the analog sources, we would be generate the voice signal or the video signal. That is also information. Whatever you have to be speak on the any PS system, that is a voice signal, or you have to be communicate through the mobile phones or the landline phones, that is also the voice signals. So it is also required the encoding to make it free from the error during the transmission, and faithful transmission we have to be required to source encoding and channel encoding for these voice signals as well as the video signals. So there are lots of the softwares are also available that would be compress the video signal data. So compression it would be done in the with the help of the source encoder. Okay. And if you have to come to the discrete sources, that would be generated from the computer data. The binary data are there, PCM data, pulse code modulated data, output. These are all are the examples of the discrete sources. Okay. So whatever the source, it doesn't matter. Information produced by any source, it is random in nature. This is the fact. Whatever the source you are using, it does not means any while. It would be main thing is that the information generated by either analog or digital sources, that would be random in nature. Consider a discrete information source with m different letters. Consider a discrete information source with m different letters and digits given by x1, x2, x3 up to xn. So if you have to see the m different messages or letters we have to be used in the information, and that would be represented in terms of x1, x2 up to the xn. It emits a sequence of letters selected from the set of letters. We know that there is a multiple letters available in the different languages. Okay, so from that set of letters we have to be generate a sequence of letters, and that is having, suppose you have selected a m different letters for constructing your information. And to construct the mathematical model, we assume that each letter has a probability. Out of m letters, which particular first letter, second letter, third letter up to the mth letter, which particular letter would become first, which letter would become second, which would be letter would become at the last. No one knows it. So we would be estimate, we can only estimate that this particular letter would become at this particular position. So that would be estimated with the help of the technique that is called the probability. Okay, so each letter has some probability that is indicated by the px of j, means j means jth letter. We have the letter up to m, so j is in between 1 to m. It is equal to 1 and greater than 1 and less than or equal to m. So probability of the jth message p of xj would be px is equal to xj, where some of this particular all probabilities, that's actually the probability theory. If you have learned the probability theory, the maximum value of the probability is the 1. Okay, so when you would be sum all these probabilities of all m messages, that would be sigma j is equal to 1 to m, the p of xj is equal to 1. This is an important relationship. So whatever the formulas mentioned in my lecture, please note it down because this is completely mathematical based topic. So if you would not write the formulas and the mathematical equations, then you would be not understood this topic, and you would be you would be face difficulty to solve the numericals based on these topics. Okay, so please everyone note it down, all these equations of probabilities and whatever the information mentioned in the lecture. So basically there are the two types of the sources we can use generally information. So the first one is the discrete memory less source, DMS. So what is a discrete memory less source? If current later produced by a source is statistically independent of all past and future outputs. If current later produced by a source is statistically independent of all past values and the future outputs, then such source is called discrete memory less source, DMS. Means this source having no any memory, it does not remember the past outputs and not predict the future outputs. This only live with the present input and output. This kind of system is referred as a discrete memory less source. Okay, and second source is what? Discrete stationary source. If a joint probability of two sequences of length n, small n, says that x1, x2, x3 up to xm, we are dealing with the m messages, so up to xm, and x1 plus and x2 plus and x3 plus and up to xm plus n, both are identical for n greater than or equal to 1 and for all shifts m, then such source is said to be stationary source. If the joint probability of two sequences of length n are identical for all values of n greater than or equal to 1, then whatever the shifts would be happened in the m messages, such sources would be considered as a stationary source, because whatever the shifts are going on, it does not change the information. Both are identical in nature. Okay, so that's why it is called a stationary source. It does not change with respect to the any shift or any addition or subtraction from this main information. Okay, so these are the two important sources that we have to be know as a information source, DMS and DFS. Now we have to be see one other important topic of this particular information, that is uncertainty. So we know that all the informations are random in nature. So and to predict that, estimate this randomness, we have to use the probability theory. And when we have to use the probability theory, there is a one term is very common, that is called the uncertainty. So the most important feature of any communication system is uncertainty. The information produced by a source is random in nature. The transmitter, the channel, and the receiver which carry this information are also statistical in nature. Okay, so let us understand first how information is calculated actually. So I have mentioned the three statements. So I would be first ask the question out of these three statements, then I would be tell you the answer what actually it is. So we have to be calculate the information from these three statements. The first statement says that today the sun will set in the west. Second statement is it will rain somewhere in the India tomorrow. That is a predictable statement. Third one is man bites the dog. So now tell me from your class, out of these three statements, Which statement having the maximum information? Which statement having the maximum information? Anyone? Tell me.
Third.
Yes.
Third.
Hello. Which third or second or first?
First.
First. Who is saying that? First.
Manoj.
Talha. Is it first? Deepika Godse. Which statement having the maximum information? Guge Avishka. Supriya Hashe. Anyone, please. Maybe your answer is correct or maybe wrong. It doesn't matter.
Maybe one, sir.
One. Okay. And another one? Anyone else? Manoj? Jorvekar?
Second.
Yes, sir.
Who is saying second? Okay,
Maybe
see.
first, sir.
Maybe first. Okay. Okay. Good. Very good. You have all has predicted the answers, and your answer says that you are attentive in the lecture. It is very good to see. Okay. Now see, what is the answer actually? And that is the answer is hidden into the next slide. Actually, the first statement having the least information, and third one having the maximum information. See how. The amount of information contained in each of three statements is different. The first statement conveys no information, or you can, why it is having no information is what? That is uncertain in nature. The maximum, the uncertainty in the statement, that statement consists of maximum information. Okay. So what is the first statement? First statement is today the sun will set in the west. This is the universal truth. Sun will be always set in the west. Sun will be always rise in the east. No, there is nothing new thing in it. Okay. So it is a very certain statement. So it means this would be consist not any information. Okay. And the second statement carries some information, where the last statement carries a lots of information because it is having the maximum uncertainty. Second statement is what? It will be rain somewhere in India tomorrow. So this is a prediction actually. If you know that whatever the weather measurement department is there, they would be predict this kind of the weather forecasting. So maybe possible. India is a very big country. In anywhere part of any India, maybe every day there is some amount of rain would be there. So there is uncertainty, but not very much uncertain. It is possible. But if the last student you have to be see, man bites the dog. It never happens. Dog bites the man. So this means this is something new that no one is predicted. It is completely uncertain, maximum uncertainty. So the statement that is having the maximum uncertainty, that is having the consist of maximum information. Suppose you have already go through your schooling and you have entered and taken the admission into the college. If I would be start the lecture from teaching you the alphabet A, B, C, D, then is this class is fruitful to you? Is this would be something, any information you would be find there? Because all of you know that the alphabets, all of you know the construction of words from the alphabet. Even though you have know to construct the subject statements or sentences from the words. So this kind of the teaching is not would be any informative. Okay. So if I would be teach you certain topics that you have never learned, or a new concept that you have never gone through, then I would be say that my lecture is fruitful to you, and it would be some information is I am providing to you that would be beneficiary for you. So whatever the surprise consists on the statement, or uncertainty consists on the statement, that would be says as the maximum information. Okay. So always remember that the information is an inverse function of probability of occurrence of the event. Okay. Information is an inverse function of probability of occurrence of event. So whatever the occurrence chances of occurrence of event, its inverse function would be nothing but a information, that is denoted by the Ix of j. So information is represented as Ix of j, that is a function, inverse function of probability of occurrence, 1 upon f of 1 upon p of xj. Okay. So this is the basic fundamental relationship between the information and the probability. Now we would be extend this information. First, if probability of xj means jth message would be 0, means chances of occurrence of this message is 0. So information should be highest, means infinite. We have established the relationship I of xj is equal to function of 1 upon p of xj. If p of xj is 0, means it would be consist of maximum information, infinity information. Second, if p of xj is equal to 1, so Ixj would be lowest, say 0. Means it is very much certain that it would be going to happen, like the first statement. And if Pxj is less than P of xk, means suppose there is a two different message, jth message and kth message. If the probability of occurrence of jth message is less than the probability of occurrence of kth message, then the information consist in the jth message is larger than the information consist in the kth message. So it is inverse relationship. Here it is less than, so here it would be greater than. Okay. So these three are the very important statements you have to be noted down. And if xj and yk are statistically independent, two different messages I am talking about, and both are statistically independent, then we can establish a relationship that is called I of xj comma y of k is equal to I of xj plus I of yk. Okay, joint information. This is the representation Ixj comma yk. So it is a summation of two statistically independent information. That means
Hello?
we can also, yes.
Sir, can you explain second statement?
Second,
Statement?
yeah. Second statement is what? P of xj is equal to 1. Means it is having the maximum probability. Probability having the maximum value 1 means it is very certain that it is going to happen. Probability means what? It is estimation that how much the chances of occurrence of that event. If it is the maximum, probability is maximum is what? It is definitely going to happen. Okay, means sun rises in the east. It is definitely, it is a certain message. Or it is universal truth. So P of xj means it is universal truth. So it is, everyone knows that it is going to happen. So nothing hidden in that particular information. In that particular message, no information you are going to retrieve, because it is, all of you know that it is going to happen. That's why I of xj would be 0. Okay. So
Sir,
I would be come to that.
but
This second statement is how it would be I of xj is 0 in the next slide. Little bit wait for that. Okay. I am establishing a relationship between probability and the information. Then when this formula would be finally defined, then you would be very much come to know that how, if P of xj is 1, then I of xj is 0. Okay. See here.
yes.
So now we have said that the joint information that I of xj comma y of k is equal to I of xj plus I of yk. Means what? You can also rewrite this information as, we know that it is what? Inverse function of probability. It is also inverse function of probability. So I of xj comma y of k is equal to function of 1 upon p of xj multiplied with 1 upon p of yk. Okay. Note down this. Means if you have to be see that in one statement it is summation of two terms, in the second statement same would be in RHS side, there is a multiplication. So what mathematical operator would be correlating these two statements?
Logarithm.
I of xj plus I log. Yes, this log would be correlating this. So the function of the RHS on the above equation must be a function which converts the operation of multiplication into the addition. And this operation of multiplication would be converted into addition with the help of this function. This is called the logarithm function. So thus we can write I of xj comma I of yk is equal to log of 1 upon p of xj into p of y. That would be further written as log of 1 upon p of xj plus log of 1 upon p of yk. That would be says as I of xj plus I of yk. So you can see that now joint information is elaborated as summation of two statistically independent information. And in this case, if you have to be see, this is a logarithm function. So 1 upon f, at that point whatever the term I have written as f, this f is nothing but your what? This f is nothing but a logarithm function. If you have learned the function in the intermediate of in the inter, you have learned the mathematics where we have to learn the chapter on the function. So function could be any of function, maybe logarithm, maybe any other kind of the mathematical operator you can use, depend upon the relationship. So here we have to be establish a relationship between the multiplication and addition, means we are going to use a logarithm function to represent the information. Okay, so note down this. Now I am going to open the attendance on the chat box. You can enter your attendance. Parallelly, I would continue the lecture. Okay. So I of xj comma y of k is equal to log of 1 upon p of xj into p of yk, or I of xj plus I of yk. So hence the amount of information or self information is defined as I of xj is equal to log of 1 upon p of xj, inverse function, that is equal to minus log of p of xj. When in the logarithmic function, if you have to be shift the denominator term into the numerator one, so this would be come with the negative sign. So this is the equation number 1. That would be very important formula. This equation number 1 is a very important formula that is representing the amount of information. So thus for a discrete source x that producing the output x1, x2, x3 up to xm information of an event xj is given by the equation number 1, and it is called the self information. Amount of information is also defined as a self information. And now I have not defined the base of log. Till I have not defined the base of log. So unit of information would be depend upon the base of the logarithm function. And we know that logarithm function having the multiple bases. If the base is 2, like this, so the unit is called the bit. Then the information would be measured in terms of bits per message, or bit actually. If the base is e instead of 2, if the base is e, at that time it would be considered as the unit is called as a nat, nat. If the base is 10, then the unit is called as a decit or Hartley. So now you can see that as the base of the logarithm function would be changing, your unit of the information would be changed from bit to nat to decit. So there are the three possibility of the basis of the logarithm function. Okay. Now, I think that those who the person who have asked the question regarding the second statement, p of xj is equal to 1, it would be clear now because I of x has been related with the p of xj. If p of xj is here, it is 1. If p of xj is here 1, means what? Log of 1 is 0. P of xj is 0, means it is infinite. Okay. Yes or no?
Yes,
The
sir.
person who have asked. Your doubt is clear or not?
Yes, sir. Cleared.
Okay. Now, in the next slide, I would be continue this point from the next lecture, but please note it down till this is the conversion of information unit. I have told you that as the base of information or log is would be changed, the unit of the information would be changes. Okay. So these are the, this is actually the table that I have through this table I would be trying to establish the relationship between all these three units. So in the first column I have written the unit, then in the second column it is the bits when the base is 2, when third column it is nats when the base is e, and in the fourth column it is decit when the base is 10. So you can see that the bits, what is the correlation between all of this? So if you have to be unit bit for the information, that is base 2, and you have to be converted into the nats. So what you have to require? There is a 1 bit is equal to 1 upon log base 2 e, because we have to be converted in the base e. So here it is base e. So 1 bit is equivalent to 0.6932 nats. Similarly, 1 bit is equivalent to the 1 upon log 2 base 2 log 10. So it is 0.30 decit or Hartley. In the similar fashion, we have established the relationship between nats. If the unit of information is given into a nat and you have to be converted into the bits, so it is 1 nat is equal to 1 upon ln. Natural logarithm would be represented as ln to 1.44 bits, or 1 nat is equivalent to ln 10, that is 0.43 decit. Similarly, if it is given into the terms of base 10 decit, you have to write 1 decit is equal to 1 upon log 10 2, that is 3.3 bits, or 1 decit is equal to 2.3 nats. Okay. And since the value of probability is always between 0 to 1, so self-information would be always non-negative or positive number. Okay. So time is very less. So for today, thank you all of you for attending the lecture. In the next lecture, we will be continue from this particular point and up to the next point, that is entropy of the information. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for attending the lecture.